has so far related mainly to the following: protocol changes and tech upgrades, critical bug and vulnerability fixes, using pooled funds for R&D. Below are some of the areas or ideas where decentralized governance can be implemented. Futarchy. Participants in a system decide its values and those with the most info stake their ideas by betting on the outcome. Decentralized Autonomous Organization or DAO allows for group governance through a combination of smart contracts and issuing tokens. Liquid democracy. This is a system where everyone can vote for themselves or delegate their votes. Quadratic voting. This is a system of vying votes where each additional vote costs twice as much. What we need is a balanced approach, as these are very early stages and we are still learning the possible impacts and emerging scenarios. Whether we are dealing with potential blockchain startup idea or a decentralized governance model, we need to evaluate the use case we are trying to solve against key criteria to determine how centralized or how decentralized we should design our system. In the case of deciding whether to implement a blockchain solution for a supplier network, a set of criteria involves what the degree of trust is in this particular ecosystem and how fast this network needs to have data updated. For networks with very low trust and not needing real-time updates, a decentralized blockchain solution is a perfect fit. In other cases, where coordination amongst many fragmented parties is not needed and real-time processing is a must, a central database hosted on something like AWS is the way to go. With the above criterion in mind, this diagram depicts the potential future industry landscape. Please note that this is just an illustration and a possible scenario. As the technology matures and we become more experienced in pros and cons of different approaches, the spectrum may start looking somewhat different, where few industries will move more towards decentralization and the others may continue to stay in the centralization realm. From a policy-making perspective, blockchain or DLT along with other emerging technologies like big data and AI have drastically changed the core concepts of governance. Two key effects can be observed: actors and roles. New actors are appearing both on the national and international stage. Moreover, the roles and relationships that actors have developed between each other are changing. New actors who are bridging the digital with the physical world are emerging as increasingly powerful players on both the national and international stage. These are not just the big corporations such as Google or Facebook, which are dominant in collecting and analyzing big data, but also smaller interest groups who are gaining traction through the quasi-democratization effect of blockchain technology and the equalizing effect of digital communication. Hacking collectives such as Anonymous and Lulzsec are being recognized as powerful players not to be ignored. Furthermore, the cyber domain has established new and changing roles of different governance actors. Big data generators, collectors, utilizers, blockchain miners, service provider, etc. are new roles that are shaping the relationships between actors. Although the individual plays a relatively insignificant role within the larger pool of data, that is, as a generator and utilizer of data and authenticator in the blockchain, the individual can potentially become powerful. Examples of this power of the individual as a utilizer of technology are the numerous hacks that have affected the blockchain community. Some of the examples are the Mt. Gox hacks, Bitstamp hack, Bitonica hacks, etc. Power relations are also important to understand. These new actors are changing roles and constituting new and changing power relationships. In particular, actors such as tech corporations and organizations involved in blockchain technology like the Ethereum or IOTA networks have become increasingly powerful because ownership in the hands of those who develop the means, collect the data, and repurpose the tools. In the domain of big data, collectors, which also include many state agencies, determine what is collected and stored and for what period of time. Big data utilizers, who are predominantly private corporations, operationalize data by defining and redefining it for purposeful analysis. Small groups and individuals operating as hacktivists, cybercriminals, and cyber terrorists can challenge the power of corporations and states. The power relationships between these actors influence social coordination. These are also no longer confined to national jurisdictions because the digital realm spans the entire globe. The source of power thereby changes. The shift in power relationships effectuated by the digital transformation of big data, blockchain technology, and AI has been tremendous. Technologies provided by private corporations and the data bought from large data collectors are being increasingly relied upon by many sectors such as intelligence agencies, the public and private banking systems, and political parties. In effect, the legal, economic, political, criminal, and military domains have undergone tremendous change due to the digitalization of the world, and traditional modes of law and governance are doing little to conceptualize, control, and coordinate these shifts in power. In general, these emergent technologies and blockchain technology in particular are already tactically or explicitly imposing their own governance norms. When seen from the perspective of Lessing's code is law. Lessing coined this phrase way back in year 2000, maybe after the scare of Y2K. But 2 decades later, that is now it is becoming more and more relevant. However, closer investigation is required in order to ascertain whether these imposed norms of governance also need regulation and governance themselves. There is a need to strike a balance between the new power distributions and the tacit governance norms and structures imposed by technology vis-a-vis the existing normative framework and governance structure surrounding our democratic principles. However, the changing roles of governance, actors, and thereby the available mechanisms of governance require reconceptualization. This is because, for instance, legal norms are notoriously lacking behind in relation to the pace of technical innovations, but also because the potential legitimate uses of big data poses a great threat to fundamental rights and require some form of regulation and oversight. Public actors, traditionally conceived as protectors of public interests, lack the capabilities to effectively govern the spaces created by many technological innovations. Moreover, public actors have been subject to critique for the widespread collection of the data of individuals and the leaks of such data as well. In the next session, we will explore the concept of governance and its dominant modes. You must have realized that this topic is too big to fit into one session, as what we are discussing will not only impact the way technology is going to develop in future, but that impact it will have on how our social behavior change and we adopt and adapt to these changes.